All right. This is MC for Web3 TV, and we are here at the beautiful Address Marina, which is the place for ABC Web3 Conclave. So I met a special friend here, and he wanted to share his story, how he got into this crazy world of Web3. So, sir, please introduce yourself, and the stage is yours.
Sure. Hi, my name is Arul Prakas. I'm the co-founder, CEO of Book Technology, and based out of India, but been a startup founder for the last 1.5 years. Been in the blockchain space since 2017.
Okay, so yeah, but just tell us about your company. What is the problem you guys are trying to solve?
Sure. So you know how everyone is right now focused on real-world assets, right? So everyone is trying to exactly. So we're trying to figure out what are the different ways to get real world projects built on the Web3 and get the benefits out of Web3 into real world and vice versa. Now, the challenge that is there is most of the real world assets are illiquid, right? Or they have a very high entry barrier, or they have government regulations which are typically restricting what sort of assets can be tokenized, how they need to be operated. So we're working specifically on real world assets for time sensitive industries, right? So when you say time sensitive industry, it is something like, say, travel industry, right? Which basically means that after a certain date, the asset that you're holding, which could be a hotel room booking, which could be an airline ticket, basically goes waste, right? So it is time sensitive. So we're working on tokenizing this particular aspect. And let's suppose let's make a consumer use case, right? Let's suppose you know that there's an F1 race coming up in Abu Dhabi, right?
And like in 2 weeks time.
Exactly. So the prices usually go like 5x, right? And if you knew that the date, I mean, people do know the date almost a year back. If they could actually buy that booking a year back, as the date gets closer, the price increases, people are able to resell that. Why? Because we are tokenizing it, right? So we're trying to create that distribution ecosystem and a marketplace where hotel room bookings can actually be traded just like you trade NFTs. So think of Expedia and OpenSea merged together, right? So that's what we are trying to build. So that the benefit of this obviously is that, hotel prices are quite predictable. There are years of history to know that how the price increases, how it falls. So it's much easier to people to know what they're going to get, and it is usually an upward trend rather than a downward or a spike trend, right? So it usually goes up and then doop, because after that date it's not useful anymore. So that's the kind of industries that we're trying to tap into, get those real world benefits into the Web3 and get the Web3 liquidity into the real world assets.
And then that's cool. Then I'm glad that you're talking about especially I like the topic of time sensitive like industries or assets, because like tickets, whether it's like the leisure side, you also got the hospitality side. Are there any other I guess examples of time sensitive assets? Just from our knowledge.
Sure. So anything in the real world which has a date to it, beyond which that becomes useless, is basically a time sensitive industry, right? Travel is one of the largest industry. You could think of airline ticket, hotel booking, bus ticket, train ticket. Now turn the table around and you could think of event tickets, you could think of a spa reservation, a hotel booking reservation in a Michelin star hotel, which obviously gets booked 6 months earlier. What if you could actually resell that restaurant reservation, right? So these are all time sensitive industries.
All right, let me throw you this. Okay, would rental agreements, like rent and sublease, would that kind of fall under the time sensitive assets?
Rental probably not, because these need to be consumed, right? So obviously there are many other players trying to solve the rental and the asset part. So we're focusing on something which basically after a certain date is not useful as such, right? So think of it even from a large industry base like logistics, right? A ship which is having a space for say 50 containers. Each of those space is actually a time sensitive aspect. What if people could actually say that, I want to buy 4 container worth of space and then sell it to Unilever, because Unilever has a demand for China to US that they need to ship. So those are time sensitive industries. So there's a consumer play, there's a B2B play. It's like a 63% of the global world GDP is just services, right? So that's the industry that we're trying to tap into.
Wow, hey, no, that's really fascinating. Hey, no, thank you for sharing such a great insight on real world assets. I mean, that's it's pretty eye opening for me. But anyways, this last thing before you go, as a founder, I'm sure you've been through the bulls and bears, right? So, and also when it comes to India, there's so many young talent. Many of them are coming to, to the MENA region or even Singapore, to start their own businesses. So what would be that one advice from your experience, you feel is important to share?
Yeah, so for builders specifically, it's what people have always been saying, right? Get your hands dirty, right? Get into it, jump into it, start playing around, start figuring out what works, what doesn't work. If you keep looking at how startups needs to be built and keep reading videos and keep reading documents of it, it's just one side of story. Get into that, start building, start being part of it rather than seeing it from outside, right? So this is where the action is. So this is where you can actually make a difference, and that's where you should be.
Hey, so thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your service to the Web3 space, man. So hey, there you have it, fam. Y'all be good, y'all be safe. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.